like it. I like it. Human music. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Human music. I like it. I like it.
And hello, my friends. Welcome back. January 1st, 2018. My first guest of the year is my good friend Jade, a.k.a. CoyoteWildfire, whose camera has gone totally blurry and unfocused for some reason. He's like, did you rub a little Vaseline on the lens there, Jade?
Well, before we started, actually, I was just really, I don't know, I was a little hungry, so I started licking the lens on my camera, and, what am I going to do? You get hungry.
Well, congratulations on being the first guest of the new year to the Rhev Palaver. I think this has now been a full year that I've been doing this. This is episode 58.
Ooh, yeah. Exciting.
I know I started podcasting in January, but I can't remember if it was... exactly when it was. Because I've done one or two others in between. It's not always every Monday. Sometimes I'll do one in the middle of the week, too.
Yeah, depending upon how the week works out, right?
Yeah. So there have been some weeks where I've done two,
Sure.
And then last week I didn't do one because it was on Christmas.
You didn't want to do one on Christmas Day? What's wrong with you? I mean, I thought you were a pro streamer.
You'd think that, but you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. Hashtag pro streamer, not me. I don't know what you're talking about. So everyone knows you. Listen, anyone who's watching this right now, they probably know who you are. You are my buddy, my pal, Jade, a.k.a. CoyoteWildfire of twitch.tv/CoyoteWild. I'm like, wait, it's not twitch.tv CoyoteWildfire. There's something else.
there is a punctuation mark of some sort in there. Yes. So, hello, everyone. For those of you who popped into my stream earlier, this is my good friend, Rhev. This is his channel. If you've not yet followed him, you owe it to yourself to do so. He represents the Proper Nerds gamer community, of which I am a member of, and he is also a member of the Prepare for the Mediocre gamer community. And we were able to meet one another through a mutual member of the Proper Nerds and have become fast friends earlier this year, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Shiki's always welcome to just pop her little beautiful face in and say hello. I never mind a quick hello from my daughter. By the way, did you change around your room? Was that poster always on the other wall? I thought the two posters were back to back for some reason, or side to side.
Oh no, they're cornered actually. But yeah, this one over here usually isn't as much. This is a Blade Runner.
Oh, just as she puts her face down, you're like, get off of Shiki! Put my daughter on!
Okay, alright.
Hello, my beautiful daughter! Aw, I love Shiki.
She says she's going to try not to be too loud.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know, that is little Shiki, that is Coyote's beautiful fiance and my stream daughter.
Yes, indeed.
She calls me Stream Daddy, which is fine. Hello, Pedgehog. Very nice to meet you. Yeah, so anyways, we were just talking Minion Masters right before we went live. I think I'm going to stream a little bit of that tomorrow. I was going to do another game, Silent Service, tomorrow, but Navrez isn't going to be here, so...
Yeah, I was thinking about doing some of that too, because any of the games that I get from my viewership, if they donate a game to me, their generosity, I think, obliges me to get some screen time for it. But today I wanted to get some more Minion Masters in, and had a great stream. Really enjoyed the camaraderie that I got to have with, a fellow host and Prepare for the Mediocre as well. So, but you also play Eternal, and you play, what was the other card game that you play? It was Hearthstone, right?
Hearthstone, and I played a bit of Elder Scrolls Legends, but I need to be clear about what happened is they just came out with a new expansion for Hearthstone in December, and they come out every 4 months. The expansion that came out before it was terrible. It was hated. I hated it. It really turned me off from the game, and I barely played it all for 4 months. So that was when I was branching out and playing Elder Scrolls Legends and Eternal, but then I burnt out on those games, so I'm kind of back to Hearthstone a little bit now.
That's fair. I mean, I was super into Overwatch, and, as it is with a lot of those multiplayer games that you play online, either against people or against comms and stuff like that, I find, that it's really addictive at first, and you get super sucked into it, and you play it all the time, but then, the kid just gets to a point where you're just like, yeah, but I'm good. I got what I wanted out of it,
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Just recently, because Overwatch went on sale for Christmas, a bunch of people in the proper nerds have started playing it. Some of them for the first time. And two of our featured streamers, Darth Bex and Rock and Rage, just have fallen in love with it. And their love for Overwatch has really rekindled my interest in it, even though I haven't played it for 6 to 8 months.
Oh, that's fair. There's definitely times where I'm just like really itching to go play it and whatnot. And, you know, it scratches the itch when I do. But usually I'll play with my friends or people that I know.
Network link established with another streamer.
Rock and Rage rating. There's usually, you know, like some toxic players, especially in comp, that I just really don't want to be.
Network link established with another streamer.
Have some fun games with my friends.
I apologize for that multiple echo. I'm not sure what that is. So sorry to everyone who's watching. Yes, but I know what you mean about the competitiveness. I was playing the other day, and I really have to stick with only playing Overwatch when I'm playing with friends, right? I was playing solo, and it was that Chateau Deathmatch map. And I started out on someone else, and I was losing. So I switched over to Junkrat, and I started kicking ass, because I'm pretty decent with Junkrat.
Sure.
And, dude, there was this guy. So the first match, I was on, I think, Soldier 76. And this guy, I remembered the name, but now I forget it, was like, he got like 2 kills, you know, in the whole time. Then the next match, he got like 3 kills the whole time. And he goes, is anyone else sick of Junkrat always winning these matches? He's such a spam fest. And it's like, okay, the first game, no one was on Junkrat at all. And then the second game, I won as Junkrat. It's like, dude, are you... Like, so he goes, is anyone else sick of Junkrat? And I'm like, I don't know. Is anyone else a salty bitch? So I guess so. Other than, you know, it's like...
Performance anxiety is such a bitch, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't understand why people... That whole anonymity of the internet, just giving people power to be total assholes, is amazing.
Yeah, that alarms me sometimes, because, like, you know, if you were to ever come across this person and they got salty in real life, you know, the social discourse would be completely different than, you know, some of the very, very hurtful comments that come out of the internet, because they just feel safe. They can say whatever they want with, you know, impunity.
Or dox whoever they want, or post personal pictures of whoever they want to SoundCloud or things like that, when they know the only reason they're safe is because they live half a continent away. If they went to the same high school as us and lived in the same town, they'd get their ass beat with a lead pipe.
Yeah, that's because they're a little bitch. But
yeah.
You know, not pointing anybody out necessarily, but I kind of called this, considering, you know, despite the fact that said individual had some very great friends and some incredible support, decided to throw that all away over something trivial. I was, you know, it just goes to show where some people's priorities lie, and it certainly isn't with the communities.
Well, Volk points out, you know, a lot of cases, it's the only joy they have is to just be salty and toxic. And we have to address that too. First of all, before I say anything else, can you move your camera up just like 2 millimeters? Because it's cutting off the top of your beautiful, beautiful hair, which we often see you brushing on stream, by the way.
Oh, well, then I guess I'll have to do you the honors. I mean, you know.
Look at this. Look how gorgeous this man is. Is that a Big Hero 6 brush?
How would you rate your pain?
Furry baby.
I loved that scene too, by the way, where, you know, he's running out of batteries, but he behaves as if he were drunk, if a Baymax could ever get drunk for any reason.
I know, it really is fantastic. Anyways, we are jumping all over the map. I wanted to just get back to this point. So in regards to people on the internet being just toxic and salty and everything, we can't also discount the fact that we don't know what's wrong with them. Like, there could be some serious psychological issues. So when someone is salty or annoying on the internet, you always do have the option to be like, all right, not talking to that person anymore. And most games have an ignore command, and you block them, and, you know,
Yeah, you definitely have options, and it's nice that at least with the anonymity of the internet, typically speaking, it's not too hard to get rid of somebody who's being a pain in the dick. But it's still, whenever there's somebody who's confronting me, typically, whether it's in person or in the internet, my usual philosophy is to be like, okay, well, let's take a look at this from their perspective, walk a mile in their shoes, because, well, one, you're a mile away and you have their shoes. Well, okay, all right. So, no, but really though, if you spend time thinking about other people first and what they might be thinking or what they might be going through, I mean, it becomes a lot more easier to see the human aspect of it.
Yeah.
So, if somebody wants to be salty, maybe they had a bad day, maybe they just got fired, maybe their mom died, so I try to give people the benefit of a doubt, but then there are certain things I feel like I have to draw the line on. And those go for both my streams as well as the community. Things like racism or sexism or hate speech. Those aren't tolerated.
Yeah.
But if somebody's
absolutely.
being,
You can be understanding of someone and their differences, but at the same time, there's a line that's crossed.
Mm-hmm.
So with recent events where we had some drama going on in both of our communities, I said, all right, look, I want to be fair. You know what I just realized? No one said anything, but your audio is probably way too low. Can you just say something for me real quick?
Check.
Thank you.
Hello,
That's
Rhev.
so much better.
Oh yeah.
No one said anything that they could barely hear you, so I guess it was okay. But I like the audio levels to be equal.
Thank you.
Anyways, so when there was this drama going on, I took a very okay, let's look at this. Let's calm down. Let's not be emotional. Let's look at this and analyze things and see what would be and internally I was like, I was hot. You know what I mean? But the reason for that is because even if someone is wronged, if they see me treating the person that wronged them fairly, they know that I will treat everyone fairly.
Exactly.
And that's one of the hardest things about leading any group of people. And not that I'm the leader of Proper Nerds, but,
I think the principle is the same whether you're a leader or a follower. You want to be the kind of person that could be a leader or would be a leader or has those same qualifications, in the event that somebody needs to step in and be like, the buck stops here, or if not me, then who? There's got to be some sense of personal responsibility, especially when you're working together, with a group of people who are like-minded, who are there to, spend time together, watch streams, to stream or play games together and whatnot. You're going to brush elbows with a lot of different people in a lot of different walks of life and a lot of different needs. I mean, even if you are the leader of a community or not, I find that, there's only so much that you can do anyway. So if other people within said community also step up, they bring something unique to themselves to the table. So that way, it's a further enrichment and you can reach into the lives of more people that way. I think it's a tremendous opportunity, both in streaming as well as community leadership, to be able to make the world just a little bit better of a place. And that's why I started PFTM to begin with.
Well, and I think that's the reason I've guided my stream primarily, and to a lesser extent, the Proper Nerds community. It's the life I want to see on Twitch. It's the way I want people to act and the way I want people to react to each other. Positive vibes.
Mm-hmm. Safe
friendliness.
Place. Exactly.
I don't want to say safe place because that feels like I hear safe place and I think about those college universities that had to bring in puppies for students to come in and pet because they didn't do well on a test. I hate safe space. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay. I could see where you would.
Fair space. Fair and
yes.
And what's the word? You want people to treat. So okay, you know the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
I've always tried to live my life that way. You should treat everyone the way you want to be treated or better at all times. Mm-hmm. Because the more positivity you put out, the more positivity is out there in the world, right? So that ties back into the whole toxicity on the internet thing. When someone's toxic to you, if you're just like, okay, man, whatever, and blow it off, then it's done. It's gone, right? That toxicity is now, it's gone. It disappears.
Yep.
If you respond with toxicity, you're amplifying it.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. The saying goes, hate begets hate. But it's interesting too, you know, on the opposite end of that coin, it's like you never know the true power of like what one small act of kindness can do too. Both of them can play off one another. We're all human and we all resonate, you know, with the emotions that we're presented with. But I find it really fascinating just how one very small good deed and act of thoughtfulness or kindness or generosity can just go so much further, and it can spread and spread. You know, like the thing, you just so much as passing somebody on the street, saying hello and good day could mean the difference between, you know, somebody going home and contemplating, you know, a very permanent decision to their, you know, their circumstances. And so I always want to, you know, lead my life at least as best as I can, you know, leaving the experience or leaving the world better than the way that I found it.
It's the best way to live, you know, just try to put the positivity out there. Hey, real quick, positivity wise, see this shirt? It's do you know the code?
Up, down, down, left, right, BA start.
Right.
Konami code, my brother.
I've had this shirt for so long, and I haven't worn it in like 3 or 4 years because it was too tight on me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I fit into it again.
Ah, congratulations!
So,
that's fantastic.
Speaking of positivity.
Now you've only been doing that for what, about 6 months now, right?
About 7 or 8 months. I don't really remember off the top of my head, but I was so overweight. Like if you look at me today in real life, you see I still got a gut. You know, I've still got some neck fat. I could still lose weight, but I'm so happy. I'm down to about 245 pounds, and that's about, I've sort of plateaued there for the last month. But I don't care. I can feel it. I can feel how much, you know, heavier. And actually, I'm not a big guy for making resolutions for the New Year's, but I told my wife, I'm like, we've been eating a lot of carbs lately. Let's kind of chill on the carbs.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, you know, everything in moderation, just a little bit less in, you know, your portion control or the type of food. Instead of empty calories, trade it for something that's nutritious. Excuse me. And you know, just a small change can make such a big difference, especially in the long run. Yeah. And you know, even if you may, you know, still have a gut, you're still leaps and bounds more healthy now and less prone to complications due to your weight because you have lost what you have.
Well, and it's not even that we're on a no carb diet. We never were like no more carbs. It was, hey, how about we stop eating so many carbs? Like we would, everything we would eat was meat and carbs, and nothing. Like it was an unhealthy diet.
Sure.
So we cut a lot of carbs out of our diet, which was pretty easy to do, really. When the alternative is like, hey, instead of having, you know, God, I don't know, instead of making a pizza for dinner, how about I cook chicken on the grill, or I cook some steaks on the grill? It's like those are still amazingly tasty, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm 100% down with that. You know, there's so much that you can do to improve your diet. You know, whether it's, you know, you go gluten-free or you do paleo, or, you know, there's a wide variety of diets. And a lot of it, I think, just boils down to the fact that it makes you conscious. Instead of just eating whatever is put in front of you and is at whatever amount of portions that you decide you're going to eat, it makes you conscious of what you're eating. And that is the biggest benefit, I think, to dieting, because then, you know, you have an idea. You don't necessarily have to be counting calories, but you know what you're putting in you, and what you're putting in you is your fuel.
I got something to put in you, buddy.
I'm sorry, you had me at, I've got something to put in your butt.
Yes, exactly.
So speaking of shirts, real quick, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yes! Look at that. It's beautiful. I noticed your awesome mug, too, by the way.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much.
I love the mug.
Yeah, it turned out really well. I did this all through Teespring. There was water in that.
Good job.
Oh, well, thanks.
Hey, real quick, what's the best way for people to find the Prepare for the Mediocre store on Teespring?
Well, there's a URL for that. That URL is actually going to be changing. I've got to get some ownership passed over. So
I can imagine. You did not
So-
let someone that we were just referring to set up your Teespring, did you?
kind of did it on his own. So I'm gonna avoid that and instead, if I may, drop the Prepare for the Mediocre Discord.
Sure! Absolutely. You can just drop
Okay.
it right in chat. This is a great time for me to mention, for those of you who don't know, Coyote Wildfire is the founder and leader of the Prepare for the Mediocre community. If you're familiar with my community, the Proper Nerds, it's very similar. We always say they're sister communities. Very similar sort of vibe. Whereas Coyote is definitely the leader of PTFM, and he's got several featured hosts, right? Featured hosts. Whereas the Proper Nerds is more of a community. It's not like a leader thing. It's sort of run by the featured streamers without any one head, the way Jade is for PTFM. But I am a member of the PTFM community, a truly wonderful community, to say the least. Oh, God.
Well, thank you.
Not those PTFM people. Yes, James, those people.
We are a family. I got all my sisters and me, says Rock and Rage.
And what's amazing is we met through Twitch because I
Yes.
started playing Domina, very fun game, by the way, and
Yes.
Lassane, another featured streamer in Proper Nerds, was watching, and she's like, oh my God, I want to play this game. So she started playing it. And then what? One day you were looking on Twitch for someone to watch, and then you came across Lassane?
Well, actually, what had happened was I really wanted to watch. Like, I was at work at the time, and usually what I'll do is I'll like listen to a streamer while I'm doing work, which I think is fun. And I had been playing Domina, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm like, well, hey, why don't I go find somebody who's playing Domina on Twitch? And literally, the only person streaming was Lassane, and I'm like, all right, sure, why not? And she had like not a lot of exposure, but enough that she kind of got the inner workings. And so it was an opportunity for me to coach somebody newer to the game than I was. And I was certainly still new as well, and kind of learn from that. And it was cool. It was fun. And I really like the way that Domino works because it has a lot of Twitch integration in it, and it gets the viewers involved and active in the chat.
Yeah. And I love, too, how it's built right into the game, and more games are starting to do that now. They build Twitch integration right into their games.
Exactly.
I played Hand of Fate 2 today, and I was playing for about 10 minutes when someone came in and they're like, why don't you have Twitch integration turned on? And I'm like, I never even thought to look. I go into options, there it is, boom. The viewers can vote on things. You can call for votes. So, like, I have a lot of the options turned off. But then if I'm like, I can't decide, I can hit F3 and then it calls for a vote in chat. And the reason I have a lot of options turned off is because, like, otherwise it just spams chat,
Yeah,
You know how that
right.
goes.
It can. Another one that I liked as well was Party Hard, where you can do votes and stuff like that, and that has direct impact into the game. And each of the viewers, they end up with their own account. But basically what it is that it just takes the name of the viewer, and then based upon what happens or they're chatting, they get more points, and then they can spend those points to have something happen in the game that could either assist or harm me as the player. But it's fun because you get the opportunity to be more interactive with your chat. You get the opportunity that you get to engage your viewers on more of a level than just your personality. And if you have a shining personality such as myself, no no but it's something that's more fun. Like, if you could play a game or watch somebody play a game, it's more fun to participate. There are plenty of people that wouldn't necessarily want to participate, but you have optional participation, and it's a good time. It draws a crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of games that are starting to realize that a lot of it's almost free marketing. in a way for their game if they include Twitch chat integration and then people play it, right? It's free marketing.
Right.
It gets people playing the game on Twitch, which I can't even begin to guess how many games have been bought because people have watched me play it in the last year. I mean, not just Navrez. I mean, Navrez is a perfect example, but...
Case in point, I picked up, like, even before the game was released, you got, I think, an early access version of Battle Chasers Night War, and I picked that up, and I've been playing that, and my viewers love it. It's a great opportunity to do song requests. It's fun. It's not so terribly involved that I have to be completely focused and have, I can't focus, interact with chat or anything like that. It's a great game, and I've really enjoyed it, and so have my viewership.
Dude, I loved Battle Chasers Night War, but I fell off because I felt like there was too much grinding. Like, I just got to the point where I'm like, okay, do I want to play off stream and grind out levels? And I was like, I wish there was an easier mode or like 100% experience boost or some, like, it just feels a little too grindy for me to play on stream. And if I'm not playing something on stream, I'm not playing it.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm playing games off stream because that's just what I do with my time, but it's definitely given me more of a push to play things on stream because in my own personality, what I would play is just like whatever, I feel like playing this today, I guess. Now I have reason to kind of like, start a game and finish it out because people are expecting me the way that I run my schedule. Sundays are a given game, Mondays are a different game, Thursdays are a different game, and then anything in between. I have kind of like a set game per day of the week or during non-scheduled streams for the sake of, the progression, and I've been able to complete out a lot of the games that were just kind of sitting there in my library, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. It's been very enriching.
Rock and Rage says he started playing FTL and Turmoil after watching me play them, and those are two of my all-time favorite games. Turmoil, directly responsible for one of the main reasons that I stream. Because,
oh, really?
Yeah, I had a Twitch account, and I would just use it to watch people. And I had started using my Twitch account like once a week to play Quiplash with my friends in the Proper Nerds. And that was it. That was the only reason I streamed. It was literally just so my friends could see the screen and we could play Quiplash together.
Yeah.
But then I started looking at this game, Turmoil, and it... Yes, you can, James. Go ahead. And the developers were like, this game's in early access. Tune in on Tuesdays and Thursdays to our Twitch page where we'll talk to you, we'll play the game, we'll talk about the game. So I started watching that. I would set my schedule and go and watch them play. And I was like, I could do this. I could play this and just be on stream. Like, why am I not doing that? So I started playing Turmoil on stream. And I would tell them, I'll go live right after, and they would host into me. The developers would host into me, and one of the developers for that company was one of my very first podcast guests. Episode 4 of Rhev's Palaver, I talked to one of the game developers. So it was a lot of fun. And the more and more I did it, the more and more I fell in love with streaming. So, yeah.
It is a lot of fun, and especially when you got a great community to support you or a great group of people following you. For me, one of the things that was kind of my impetus behind streaming at all was, I actually moved out of my parents' house. That was it. That was like the first catalyzer because my brother and I grew up, and we were both gamers. We grew up together, very close friends, and that's what we would do together. We would spend time gaming constantly. But when I moved out, he was still living at home, and we were having troubles with his schedule and my schedule getting something down. We were always talking about, hey, we got to play Dark Souls together. Hey, we got to play Dark Souls together. And I'm like, yeah. And so he just throws me this idea. He's like, well, why don't we just do it once a week? And I'm like, yeah. And you know what? I mean, we're going to be doing this anyway. Why don't we stream it? And so Prepare for the Mediocre as a channel or as a whole actually got its start from him, myself, and his roommate just playing Dark Souls 2. and this was in 2014, I want to say. And it wasn't the first Dark Souls 2 playthrough that we did. When Scholar of the First Sin came out, that added the ability to summon in a fourth person. Little Shiki gets involved, and we start streaming it. And I thought, hey, why not throw it out there, see what sticks, and if I have the off chance of maybe interacting with somebody and brightening their night, why not?
Yeah. Yep. Speaking of when we first started out, this is something I want to bring up. So you've been streaming for over 3 years now, right?
About just shy of 3 years, actually. Because I think it was in 2014 that we started Dark Souls 2, so it was after we played through that and started Scholar of the First Sin, so it might have been like early 2015.
Okay, so then my next question is this. When would you feel like you really clicked with streaming and you felt like, yes, I'm doing this. This is a part of my life now. I've got viewers who show up. I've got regulars. I've got people that enjoy my content, etc.
That's a little difficult to answer because there's 2 points in my streaming, I think, that I really kind of like doubled down on it. The first time was when Shiki wanted to do streaming with me, but she wanted to do other things or, do a Just Us kind of stream originally. And so I'm like, well, why don't we do bi-weekly streams? You can sit with me and we'll do something that's either 2-player or cooperative or, we can take turns and whatever. And so we were doing originally Mondays and Thursdays. And so on Thursday nights, it was just her and I. And I'm like, well, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I mean, I might as well make it a little bit more known. I started posting it on Facebook. I started being a little more active in Twitch and whatnot. And I figured, okay, here we go. And during that period of time, actually, back in 2015 is when I injured my back. I was ejected from a mosh pit onto some concrete. And yeah, it took about 2 years. It wasn't until early 2017 that it finally felt normal again. And the point being, though, is that, I was in 2 different metal bands between here and a neighboring city. And I'm like, well, I don't have really anything to invest my creative energy in. So when that happened, I'm like, this is what I'm going to do with my time. I'm really going to kind of build the Prepare for the Mediocre brand. And then the second kind of rebirth or double down, I guess, that I had was actually earlier this year. Going from probably, I want to say, January to about May, June-ish. I was off roughly, it was almost 6 months of no viewership. Like, I didn't have many viewers. I really had none. Mm-hmm. I mean, somebody might pop in once and then say nothing and then leave, despite the fact that I'd been doing this a while. So it was one of our former hosts in Prepare for the Mediocre, Prodigious Cat, who got affiliate in June. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do this. I had just totaled my car that I'd had for about 2 years. And I had not finished paying it off, and the insurance paid off the rest of it, but not really enough for me to get another vehicle, which, if you're familiar with my streams, I have those monthly goals. And I'm like, well, you know what? The only other thing that I think that I can do is to chase affiliate and see if I can get some earnings from what I do with Twitch. And so I opened up a 3rd stream day on Sundays, and have been streaming more aggressively when Shiki's, not working. I'm usually with her, but nights that she's closing, that's a perfect opportunity for me to get some extra stream hours in and to serve my community.
Or like today when you did 6.5 hours because she was at work.
Precisely, and I had off.
Yeah.
So, so that was when I really started chasing affiliate in July, I think 18th of last year. I got my affiliate and have been aggressively chasing that ever since.
Well, there's a very good reason why I brought that up. Now, both of us know a lot of small streamers or new streamers or what have you I don't see my buddy Josh Kritz in chat, but Josh Kritz is a newer streamer. He's a very small streamer. He just started a few months ago, and I get this a lot. I get the question, man, how do I build? How do I get to where you are? I like people will pop, like just like you said. They said sometimes I'll stream for 3 hours and no one will come in and say hi, or I'll get one or two people that'll pop in and say hi and that's it. And how do I get to where you are? And I said, dude, you just keep going. People don't understand there is a long period of paying your dues. There's a long and some people it's really long. D-Bach, who stopped in a little while ago but had to go start his stream, he's been streaming for about 3 years, and he only just got affiliate this last year. You know, well after the program had launched. It took a long time, and part of it was joining Team MZ, joining the proper nerds, and really working at being a streamer. It's not an immediate thing. You know, a lot of people watch you or watch me, and they're like, oh, Coyote's got 660 followers. How come I've got 20? Like,
right.
Dude, you just keep going. You just keep going every day. You keep every day that you can. You know, I'm not saying you have to stream 7 days a week. That'd be ridiculous. But I mean, every day you stream, you just keep plugging it. And I don't think people get that. You know, Rock and Rage is one of my all-time favorite people to watch. He's over 300. You know, and you know, you get to this point where you're like, man, I've been doing this for 6 months and I'm only at 300. Yeah, but there have been people who've been doing it for 2 or 3 years and aren't at 100 yet.
Yep. And you know, it's not necessarily anything that you've, you know, done wrong necessarily that is, you know, to blame for that. Sometimes it's the game that you play. Sometimes it's the time frame. Sometimes, you know, the people that are interested in the game are watching somebody else because unless you're in the top echelons of the competitive, you're not really relevant on Twitch. It depends. But one of the things that really
I gotta
helps...
interrupt you for 1 second though, man. I've seen so many of these people who are competitive and like top of their field in whatever esport game they're playing, be it League of Legends, PUBG, whatever, CSGO. They're like the top people, right? And I'll watch their stream and they just don't have anyone watching. And I'm like, oh, because they're not good at this. Like sometimes people are just not good streamers.
It's true. That's true. You know, I always talk to people and they're like, well, I didn't get any viewers. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. Don't watch your viewers. Stream as if you're streaming to millions. You know, like your personality is different if you know, oh, well, nobody's watching. You know, like pretend like you are streaming to a huge crowd. You've got all the viewers. You're the most popular streamer on Twitch. You know, and your personality comes out. Some of it too is just finding your feet. You know, you've got to have a personality. You've got to offer something to your viewers that keeps them engaged or is interesting or relevant. So instead of you know, paying attention to your viewership, just keep going. You got to keep moving forward, you know. And if you're not getting viewers, if you're not getting out there, try joining a community. If you've not joined Proper Nerds, or if you've not joined Prepare for the Mediocre, it's a great opportunity to brush elbows with people, you know, and learn something. And you know, I'd been doing it for 2 years before I even brushed elbows with you, and I've learned so much in the last 6 months. Even then, you know, and I didn't have a community to bank on or a group of people nice Rhev, to help me, you know, on board. But instead I just decided to build a community around myself, you know, so it's been a lot of learning experience for me as well.
Yeah, but no, James is exactly, so this, I'm not going to say any names. I'm not even going to say the game that this professional player was at. But I went into his chat, and there was almost no one watching him, and he wasn't reacting to his chat at all. He just wasn't reacting at all. It was going by, and he was not even fast. It was going by slowly, and it was like he was just playing his game. And he would occasionally make comments like, oh, I gotta do this thing in this game. I gotta do that thing in the game. But it
Why
wasn't
not?
like he was interacting with his chat. I'm like, why would anyone watch this?
I don't know. I mean, the few people that might pop into his chat or happen on his channel at that point won't stick around because they're not acknowledged.
Yeah. So real quick, we're 40 minutes in already, which means we're 2/3 of the way through. I am Rhev. You're watching my channel. Please go ahead and hit that follow button if you haven't already. And I am talking to one of my new and good, and I'm going to say shockingly real life friends, CoyoteWildfire, who you can find over twitch.tv/CoyoteWildfire. And I feel very confident calling you a real life friend. We met through Twitch, and then we realized, hey, we live like 45 minutes away from each other. And we've hung out. We've hung out, what, like 5 or 6 times now, right?
Yeah, on more than a couple of occasions, and it was so cool because Lassane, from the Proper Nerds there, she.
I have detected a new follower for the channel.
And then found out, that this person that I was interacting with in her chat, and then who started streaming later, and I started watching, actually lives not far from me. And little Shiki and I, obviously, we came down on your drinking stream, which, by the way, guys, is a lot of fun when they do the Proper Nerds drinking streams. It's a grand time. You should definitely check it out.
We're already planning for the January event. We don't have a date locked in yet. We're looking closer towards the end of the month, but
sure,
it's hard to lock that down. And no, it wasn't an animation. It was not an animation, Drink Irish Potato. I don't know if he's referring to real friends or if he's referring to the Sambot that I introduced today. So
Sam, yeah, the virtual
AI. Yeah, my digital assistant, Sam, who also now announces things like followers and donations and so on and so forth. I'm not sure if he was referring to that or something else.
Somebody skeptical that you would mislead them?
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you. When has Papa Rhev ever led you guys wrong? Come on now. You should know better.
So, listen, I've always said the number one rule for streamers, number one rule, and whenever anyone asks me for advice about streaming, number one rule, if you're not having fun when you're streaming, you are doing something wrong. Okay? End of story. So that has to be the first change. Whatever it is that you're doing, if you're not having fun, that needs to be fixed. You need to look at what you're doing, why you're doing it, why it's not fun. If you have gone through all the options, then maybe you shouldn't be streaming. Because if you're not having fun, anyone who watches you will know that you're not having fun, and you'll never be good at it. You know what I mean? So that's my number one rule when it comes to streaming. What would be your first piece of advice when someone comes to you and says, CoyoteWildfire, I want to start streaming. What should I do?
Well, my first response to that, it's usually the question is posed to me differently. It's usually like, should I start streaming? And my answer is always yes. Yes, you should start streaming because then you will know for sure if it is something that is right for you. If it's something that you don't enjoy, you've given it a shot and you couldn't care less, then hey, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but at least you tried it. It's a new experience. And for me, realizing how enriching the whole experience has been and the people that I've gotten to get, gotten close to, or the friends that I've made along the way, or the community that's helped, me get to where I am, and hopefully in turn I help them. All of that would not have happened had I not started streaming. Some people, sure, they might not be cut out for it, and that's fine. But you gotta just do it. You gotta try. And if you don't know how, talk to somebody who does, because both of our communities are great at helping people on board, great at giving people advice or supporting their numbers, getting them affiliated and whatnot. I mean, it's a great opportunity to do something a little more with your hobby than just do it for yourself.
Yeah. And speaking of communities, there's, 2 communities right there. You've got Prepare for the Mediocre, headed up by Jade. You've got Proper Nerds, which I'm a part of. Just get in chat and just start asking questions and talking. You will have people jumping over each other to try to help you. Because we all want to see people succeed. We all want to see everyone doing good and happy and enjoying themselves.
Absolutely.
Dude, if Proper Nerds, as it exists today, had been around when I started streaming, I would be 5 times bigger than I am now. Like, I went through such a long period of growth and building because I did everything wrong. Like, I thought, oh, I can do everything myself. I can do I'll just watch videos, YouTube, read Reddit. I'll figure everything out, right? Worst thing you can do. If there is a community who is willing to help you, jump on it. Talk to them. And on top of it, the other thing that I always tell people is Twitch is a social networking site, just like Facebook and Twitter and all those other things. If you sit there and all you do is go live and stream for 4 hours and post on Twitter, I'm going live, and that's it, you'll never build your community, because how are people going to find you?
Right.
Another bit of advice I give new people is, if you only have an hour to stream in a day, don't stream. Mm-hmm. Spend that hour networking. Go watch other people. Find out what game you want to play, and then just go pop into the channels of people playing that and talk and get to know people.
Exactly. If you're a face out there, you're talking to somebody, or you're engaged with somebody else who is streaming. It's just that much more of an opportunity to get people to know you. And if the people like, how they got to interact with you, from their own streams, it does beg enough curiosity that, hey, oh, this person's interested in streaming. These are my thoughts on it. Hey, there's a lot of supportive people out there. Maybe they need some help, or, maybe they want some advice, or maybe they just need a friend to help coach them along. If you don't get out there and start talking to people, if you don't engage other people in their own streams, there's less of a propensity for them to come find you, unless you somehow manage to hit the jackpot and end up on the front page of Twitch for whatever game that you're playing, and there happens to be nobody else playing that game, and there happens to be a lot of people that want to watch it.
Which that never happens, let's be honest.
Right, that's a huge amount of what ifs.
In the year that I've been streaming, I have seen a massive explosion in Twitch. And part of it was because other sites like Mixer have opened up, and now like Xbox and PlayStation, they have the integrated app. So people that are playing on their consoles can just straight up, hey, I'm going to play this game, and I just hit this app first, and then I start playing the game, and that's all they have to do.
There was a guy... Yeah, there was a guy that I got to know from Streamers Alliance, which is the third community that I'm a member of, and he's a streamer, and he has just a few followers short of what I've got, and he streams exclusively on PS4, and the Twitch integration that comes with both the Xbox One and the PS4 is fantastic, because you don't have to do anything special. Sure, you don't have a lot of control over like what you want your layout to look like, unless you have a PC with a video card that the capture card feature. So you have some limitations, but it's getting people streaming that couldn't stream ordinarily, or wouldn't have streamed at all, and I think that that's a fantastic opportunity. And he's a great guy too. His name's Immortal Gaming 1988, so he's actually born the same year I was.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk about just this topic, new streaming and how to start streaming, for the entire time.
Yeah, true.
But we are getting down to the last 10 minutes. Was there anything you want to talk about? I know that you're constantly running giveaways and contests and community events. What do you have coming up? It's New Year, right? 2018. Yep. I know that you've been hooked on Minion Masters. I wanted to talk about that just a little bit. But What else do you got? What do you have going on? What do you have coming up?
Okay, so this upcoming Saturday, actually, I've got a giveaway slated. This past weekend, we did reach our follower goal for the next giveaway. The only people eligible, though, are followers of my channel. But the giveaway events that I do and the giveaway streams are more than just, like, hey, I've got a game key, let's do a giveaway, and sometime I give it away to somebody. No, it's a fun event. It gets a lot of people involved. People usually are it's like a higher turnout, so people are usually more ready to tune into a stream regardless of what's being played because, hey, the opportunity to get a free game. And then even if they can, I've actually had people who only watch my streams on their phone, who have no PC to be able to watch or play these games on, join in the giveaway only because of the fact that they just love the fact that it's a giveaway. Everybody's, all together. We're in this. Oh, what's the RNGesus going to turn up today? And usually, even if I have like a specific like high profile game that I'm going to be giving away, I've always got runners up games to give away to people who stick around. Or what I'll do, depending upon what types of games, if they're all kind of like equal tier, I'll give away one game key every hour. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the giveaways. Usually I'll play a game that's either related to the genre of the game that I'm giving away or the actual game itself that I'm giving away. So that is this Saturday. I don't have a time frame yet. I need to nail that down. But the best way to stay in touch with that is to follow the channel. To jump into the Prepare for the Mediocre Discord, I have my own text channel there.
I have detected a new follower for the channel.
Keep yourselves in the know with regards to events, giveaways, streams, and all that.
Yeah, and if anyone is not already, I don't suppose you have a Discord link, or maybe Shiki, if Shiki is still watching, could grab a link to join your Discord and just throw it in chat. That'd be great. Thank you so much. Again, I highly recommend Coyote's community as well as the Proper Nerds community. Do you guys have a website yet?
No,
Okay.
No, we don't. That was actually on the discussion table before a certain moderator of ours decided to go.
Yeah. I love being able to say, well, or go to propernerds.com. That's kind of nice. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay, now this, I love you, right? So you are not going to be offended at this. But
No.
do you ever feel like naming your community Prepare for the Mediocre was in any way limiting or difficult? Because it is kind of a mouthful, right? Prepare for the mediocre. It's a lot of syllables, right? And now I say PTFM all the time, but sometimes it is a little unwieldy. Do you ever have any regrets or thoughts about that, or think I should have just named it Jade Room, or anything like that?
Yeah, Jade's boxer drawers. No, but yes and no. I've had this, the thought cross my mind, and you're not the only person who's asked. But it was interesting because I did talk to one of my other hosts, Canrick, and he said, despite the fact that it is a bit of a mouthful, it's not a indictment by any stretch of the imagination, but it's actually something to aspire to. We here are individuals that realize that we can't do it all on our own, and that we're not professional. We don't have the money to invest in tens of thousands of dollars of equipment or a staff to support us, but by the same token, we're still here doing this, mediocre or not. So we don't necessarily feel any qualms about the mediocrity aspect, so much as it's actually become kind of a tongue-in-cheek moniker. So we do have fun with that, but it is there's definitely been times where I've been like, yeah, but maybe I could have just named it like Coyote's Den.
Yeah.
Which could have been fun, but then by that point in time, it would have been like, oh, well, it's just Jade's community, and I'm trying to avoid that. People who are in the leadership of Prepare for the Mediocre are there to serve the community as a whole. We're all there to reach into the lives of our community, our viewership, our friends who are there. So it's more a gamer support network community than it is an entertainment community, although entertainment is certainly a part of it. TMNT.
Well, so TMNT was a really awesome role-playing game based around Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it was written in the Rift system. But I hated the Rift's world. The world of Rifts, it was like, you could have like these exosuits that had planet killer nuke weapons on your arms. It was so ridiculous. I didn't like Rifts. TMNT
That's
though.
kind of over the top.
Yeah. Glitter Boys, screw them. Sorry. Sorry, Papa Smokes. Sorry. I felt like it was too overpowered. Now, playing a mutant, bunny with one eye missing who knew jujitsu and fought with, a Celtic longsword in at the time, modern day New York City to fight crime. That was amazing. That was amazing. That's just the way I felt. I mean, it's just personal opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you know this, Papa Smokes. I'm an old school D&D player. I started playing Dungeons and Dragons in 1984, which is why when I had my 40th birthday just this past December, I got this. Oh,
Woo.
yeah. Jade.
Whoop, whoop.
Jade.
Yes.
Tell people how you're connected to this.
So Rhev approaches me after one of the drinking streams where he drunkenly said, "I'm going to get a tattoo and Angie can get one too." So during said drinking stream, we were in person for this, so he had to live up to his word. And he says, "Well, Jade, I think you might as well, cameraman for me because I'm going to need somebody to cameraman. And would you be interested in that? I think that you'd be, a great fit for it. And at the very least, you're close enough to drive." So I said, "You know what? Sure. For your 40th birthday, you want to do a tattoo stream? Why the hell not? That doesn't seem like a problem to me. I enjoy tattoos. I have a few tattoos of my own, not the least of which is the dark sign from Dark Souls on my right shoulder blade."
And you got the red summoning sign on your wrist there?
Yes, I do. I definitely enjoy tattoos, and I know what it's like to have a tattoo done on me, but I'd never actually seen somebody get their first tattoo done on themselves as an outsider's perspective. I know what was going on through my mind and what I was feeling, but it was a different perspective, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun that day.
Yeah, we did. So when's the next tattoo stream? I have to come up with a really good idea. So, again, tattoos are something permanent you're putting on your body. I'm constantly in the shower. I'm thinking, what'd be cool? What'd be cool? I hope it's not too played out, but I've definitely been thinking Triforce from Zelda. Zelda was a big part of my childhood. Something like that. I think it would have to be something video game related. I was also thinking, Jay, do you know Magic the Gathering?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I used to play.
So you know the 5 mana symbols, the fireball for red, the sun for white, etc. And you know how they're arrayed in that pattern of 5?
Yes.
I was thinking maybe this shoulder getting those 5.
That would be cool. I could totally see you getting that. That would be I would think that would be fitting. I enjoyed my brief foray into the Magic the Gathering addiction.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing too, is I was thinking about getting a D20 on the other shoulder, but having it be a 20 instead of a 1.
Right, because, critical failure and critical success,
Right.
You might as well have them. We were talking, I think, during the stream, what we'll actually really do is we'll just extend the die so that way it's, you've got front, back, and sides, so that way when it comes down to playing collectible card games like that, we'll just roll you.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen, though. I don't
Oh.
I can't see getting any big tattoos.
That's fair.
Like, I have thought about, like, expanding this one so it, like, wraps around to my back or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, something Dungeons and Dragons related that sort of plays off that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go down my arm. I like that I can cover it up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
Yep.
it's very easy to show, too. It just, boom, there.
Ooh.
But I don't want to go down my arm. Like, I definitely don't want to get a sleeve. I think if I ever did get more tattoos down my arm, it would stop, there. I wouldn't want to go too far. That's just me.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's your skin, and your skin is your canvas.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be great if you got more, but do you want? You got.
Katie's getting the nerd sleeve done this month. That's amazing. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, that's exciting, Katie.
All right. Well, listen, Jade. I love you, brother, but we are unfortunately out of time for today. And I think you've watched enough Red Flavors to know how this ends. But for anyone who doesn't, here's what's going to happen. We're going to do a thing We're going to say goodbye, and we're going to drop a host on someone else. Please stay tuned. Go show some love to whoever we drop our host on. Jay, if you haven't stuck around for the end of one of my palavers yet, then that makes it better for me. Because part of the joy I get doing this is watching people's reaction when I say, Jade, last word goes to you.
Excellent. Oh, great. Well, so my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for participating in this and showing support to Rhev. Big ups to Rhev for organizing this. And yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Whoop, whoop. This has been a great pleasure. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't followed him, make sure to do so. Slap that heart button like a misbehaving Jell-O mold and watch it wiggle. Boom, boom. Drop into the Proper Nerds Discord. Make some friends there. Introduce yourself. Don't do anything I wouldn't do twice, because I'd try anything once. And don't do school kids. Stay in drugs.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Go show some love to our host. We're going to raid Darth Bex, another featured streamer in the Proper Nerds community. Make sure you go over, show her a little love, say hi. Say hi from Rhev and Coyote. And Coyote, throw the PTFM Discord link in chat one more time. And we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. I love you all. Take care. And I'll be back for my regular stream, maybe at 11, but definitely by noon tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you later. Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care.
Rhev is logging out of the system. Please stand by for a raid on another Twitch streamer. Establishing connection now. Please hold.
I like it. I like it. I like it.